Hi friends, welcome to the Shae Report. To all of you who are just joining, thank you so much for coming aboard. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and thank you for those who are returning. Thank you for your faithfulness. Be sure to share this channel with others to get others on board so we all can be active citizens, because as I say consistently, it is imperative to us and for our country. So I wanted to share something with you all today, a little clipping, and then go over some notes that I have. But I wanted to mention I had posted a short little video on the Shae Report Instagram page. Sometimes I do little clippings there. And I had mentioned about Governor DeSantis here in Florida, how I was so happy that he finally said that blue state governors and politicians need to look out for the whole entire country, because he says we can't keep having these blue state people flooding into Florida every single time that the blue state politicians make bad policies. We just can't. We can't hold that many people. It is crazy, insane how packed it is here in Florida. I mean, it's just terrible. I can go on and on and on about that, but I'm not going to. He was mostly talking about the policies, and I had made a comment. I got a little hate about it. I don't really care. But I made a comment that the people that are moving here from those blue states that are fleeing those policies that they actually voted in, I said that they really should go back to where they were before and try to work it out, instead of coming here bringing the policies that they're running away from. And I said on the video that they're running away from those policies. And lots of people didn't like that I said that. I said, but it's very true, because they're all coming from the same states. They're all fleeing the policies and politics that they voted in. And I said, it shouldn't have to be like that. You shouldn't have to be running away. When you're fleeing from something, you're running away from something that's causing you harm. And in this case, it's politicians that are causing you fiscal harm, financial harm. So if you're running away from that and you voted for it, you really need to look deeper. So that was the main reason. This is the main reason why I make videos. If you knew your rights and you put your rights to practice, you shouldn't have to run away from your very government. If you realize it's we the people, that they're working for us, you wouldn't have to run away from your own government. And if also these blue state people that voted in these policies and these politics, if they paid attention, they also wouldn't have to flee from their states to come here. So that is the main reason that I had mentioned that. So if you follow me on there, this is a further, more detailed explanation of why I had put up that video, because we can't just keep having all these people flooding into one state, running away. So another thing that I wanted to mention, I had posted this paper before here about saving America, and I'm going to flip the camera so we can read a little bit. There's some specific things here that I wanted to talk about. But one of the things that I wanted to mention was one of the things that we can do to save our country, because right now it's in utter turmoil, so much chaos. There's fiscally, morally, socially, everything that you can think of, just so much chaos going on right now. And one of the ways that we can save our country is by downsizing the federal side, because right now it is too heavy. It's too top heavy. We often hear the terminology morbidly obese. You hear that terminology now, like, oh, that person's morbidly obese. They need to exercise. They need to downsize the amount of food that they're consuming. This is what we need to do here in America. We need to downsize the top heavy stuff. And there's multiple ways of doing that. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about how we can streamline and downsize and kind of put our mind in the mind frame. And there's certain government entities, federal entities that never existed that we have now, and we did just fine without having them. So let's talk. I'm going to show this paper. I'm going to point out some things and I'll come back on. So as I mentioned, I have posted this paper before. I think it is worth repeating and mentioning and showing again. So I will leave it here for you to read, but I wanted to point out some things. And I mentioned about morbidly obese. I said, unless America downsizes, it will continue to die of political morbid obesity. On average, empires only last 200 to 400 years as powerful empires, and every one of them were destroyed or came to an end because of expansion and taxes. Okay, we're going to talk about a lot about taxes today. So this is what I was talking about. These entities here, we did not have these entities. Started in 1935. My granddaddy was born in 1930. So when he was born, the FBI did not even exist. Okay? We didn't have this entity. We didn't have this group of people. My grandmother, who is still alive, was born 2 years before this. So when she was born, there was no such thing as that. These people, okay, so we existed way before these entities even came to our country. And these are just different ways that we can replace them with better options. Here's another one. Let's hop down to right here. The IRS, the good old IRS. We know who they are. We can replace them by state government tax, which would determine by individual state needs. But here's another thing. 1913 on Jekyll Island, good old Wilson, good old Woody there. He introduced to us the IRS. So my great-grandparents did not even know anything about the IRS. They didn't have to pay income taxes at all. None whatsoever. So these are some things that we should really deeply think about. Downsizing the top-heavy federal government that we currently have, streamlining it, because if not, like it says, if we don't downsize, our country will be morbidly obese and will definitely die of that. So I'm going to hop back on. We'll talk further. So like I said, that paper is worth repeating and showing over and over and over again. It's very, very detailed, shows us how we can save ourselves. Because think about it. Like I said, a lot of these groups were not even created. They haven't even been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So they haven't been around since the creation of our country. So unless we do that, we're going to be continually squeezed to death financially, and our country is going to become morbidly obese. I like to use that terminology because when you're morbidly obese, you start getting sicknesses, cancers, all the things. So we currently have that now in our country fiscally. So I'm going to play for you a video because last year this was put in place. It was one of those things that was put out there, voted on, and that was snuck in with the Inflation Reduction Bill. Okay, think of that. Inflation reduction. When you're reducing something, you're downsizing it. But they added 87,000 IRS agents, 87 plus thousand IRS agents. So I'm going to play for you a video. I want you to dissect it. Think about it. How much 87,000 IRS agents are. And think about 1913. That they didn't exist. Some of our ancestors, that wasn't like 4 million years ago. 1913. Okay, so I'm going to play the video for you.
On Tuesday, President Biden met with the Congress to negotiate on whether to raise the debt ceiling. What hangs in the balance is 87,000 new IRS agents. Whatever happens in these negotiations, the outcome is going to affect your life. I'm going to explain how this week on Wolves in Finance. Just to give you an idea of the significance of 87,000 IRS agents, that is more people than can fit in most football stadiums. So imagine the largest football stadium you know. Now imagine it full of IRS agents. That is what we're talking about today. Let us start with how these 87,000 IRS agents came about. They were funded last year as part of the Inflation Reduction Act on August 16th, 2022. The Inflation Reduction Act was a spending bill that was passed to fight growing inflation. Now that we're almost a year since the bill was enacted, it does not seem to be working. I don't know if you've been to a store lately, but everything seems to be more expensive. It makes me wonder if they actually talked with an economist before passing this bill. Does anyone actually think that more government spending is going to reduce inflation? Part of the spending included $80 billion for the IRS. Just to be clear, I don't see this as a Republican or Democrat issue. The IRS affects everyone, and there were a lot of Democrats that were uneasy that this got put in the bill. The increase came from a Treasury report that laid out a hiring plan for 87,000 IRS agents. Here are a couple of facts. These are new IRS agents. Some people have argued that IRS agents are retiring, and this is necessary to fill the leaving positions, but that is not true. These are new positions on top of all the IRS agents that already exist. They are growing the size of the IRS. If they wanted to simply fill old positions, they could have just left the budget the same and it would not have cost anything. This is a 66% increase in the budget of the IRS. This is a huge increase. It brings the IRS budget from around $12 billion per year to roughly $20 billion per year.
So I'm not going to explain any further that video because I think that gentleman did a very good job. I'm going to link the whole entire video for you to watch yourself. I wanted to point out some key features, but think about it. 66% more. Okay, 66% more for our IRS agents. And think, the bill was sold to us with a propaganda title, a misleading title, Inflation Reduction Act, when definitely they're not reducing anything with 66% more, adding 66% more. 87,000 IRS agents. Why do you think they're there? It's because our government is morbidly obese and they want to tax us to death, because that's what's going to happen, because they have a spending problem and we don't have a grip on our government. So unless we downsize, the country's going to die and we're going to die along with it, which is unfortunate. So we definitely need a grip. Know your rights. Use your rights. Remember, it's we the people, as I say consistently. So please share this video, help others, enlighten others. We all need to get aboard and be active citizens and not just sit on our hands and think someone else is going to do it for us. Another politician like Trump or RFK Jr. is going to do it for us, or Governor DeSantis is going to do it for us, or the other guy is going to do it. Nope, we are the people. We the people. We need to do something about it. Not one person can save us because no one has so far. So like I said, share this video. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.